Perhaps you've seen this card before. 1982 Topps Baltimore Orioles Future Stars. One of the most sought-after cards of the 80s and 90s, card number 21 would fetch around $100 ungraded when it was at peak value. This one is personal to me as well. My dad gave me his when I was around 9 years old, making it my first baseball card, and in a larger sense, this card helped inspire this series. Welcome to the back of the card, 1982 Topps, number 21. You'll only recognize one person on this card featuring the Orioles rookie trifecta. And that's okay. The very reason this card was so sought after is because of the player in the middle, Ripken Jr. The highly anticipated Ripken debuted in 1981 and exceeded all expectations. The 1983 World Series champion is known as the Iron Man for breaking Lou Gehrig's consecutive games played stretch, playing 2,632 games in a row, a record that will likely never be broken. He did this inside of 20 seasons, all with the Baltimore Orioles, of which the Maryland native's father was also an employee with. Cal had over 3,100 hits, 16th most all-time, played in over 3,000 games, 9th all-time, put up 95.9 wins above replacement, was a 2-time MVP, 19-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glove winner despite being a top 5 defensive WAR player of all time, so he should have more, an 8-time Silver Slugger, a Rookie of the Year, and was inducted to the MLB Hall of Fame in 2007. He has also owned several minor league teams and has written over 30 books. But we're not talking about Cal today. This is Bobby Bonner and Jeff Schneider's day, perhaps the two most overshadowed players in baseball card history. It's true that Bonner and Schneider did little to make this card even more sought after. Bonner only played in 60 MLB games before retiring, and Schneider only made 11 MLB appearances, all 11 of which occurred before the public was able to even get this card. Schneider's Wikipedia page literally says he was best remembered for appearing on this card. Let's start with that guy. Schneider played college ball at Iowa State University and was drafted not once, but 2 times, not signing to an MLB club in either selection. When he finished up college, he signed as an amateur free agent with the Philadelphia Phillies in 1974. After 5 seasons of being with the Phillies, Jeff was picked up by the Orioles in the Rule 5 draft in 1979. I assume it was the minor league Rule 5 draft since he didn't go straight to the majors, but I don't really feel like diving into that. He participated in the longest professional baseball game before his call-up in 1981, pitching 5 1/3 scoreless innings of relief with 8 strikeouts for the Rochester Red Wings, which at the time was the AAA for the Orioles, but they lost 3-2 to the Pawtucket Red Sox in 33 innings. Keep this game in mind. After a good season in AAA Rochester, Jeff was called up to Baltimore and made his debut on August 12, 1981, giving up 4 earned runs over 2 1/3 innings pitched. Not an ideal debut. He would make 10 more relief appearances that season, but would never see another MLB appearance after that. He would play another 2 seasons of AAA ball before retiring. There are maybe 7 pictures of him on the internet, and I just showed you almost all of them. After baseball, not much is known about what Schneider did. He's still alive, but other than that, the internet seemed to know very little. Even his default picture on Google is Cal Jr. However, the story of Bob Bonner is a bit more enticing. Over of his high school career, Bonner had 4 sports-related surgeries and was warned he may never be able to play again. Despite this, the Texas native continued to play and was regarded as a potential top 10 amateur player in the nation. Colleges wanted him as a pitcher, but as he could regularly throw 90 miles per hour, which by 1970 standards was pretty rare. But Bob wanted to play every day, so he went to Texas A&M, playing 4 years and setting most of the offensive records there. Bobby Bonner was selected in the 3rd round of the 1978 MLB draft as a shortstop. Shortly after meeting each other and practicing together, fellow 1978 pick Cal Ripken Jr., who was selected in the 2nd round, was amazed by Bonner's glove, admitting that Bobby's skill could prevent Cal from getting the future shortstop job. Bonner also played in the longest game of professional baseball, the same one Schneider was in, as well as Ripken was in. Bonner logged 12 at-bats over the 33-inning marathon. As you would expect, there's more to a man than meets the eye on a baseball reference page with every player, and Bonner's not even close to an exception. Referencing his first pro season, he said, "I drank every day, no less than 6 beers a day. I craved it. My marriage was on the rocks as a result. I was in the drug scene too. I smoked pot, I've done LSD, coke, I've done everything but put the needle in my arm." In October 1978, Bonner said he realized he was a sinner and never looked back. He fell into Christianity and even showed up to spring training with a Bible. This would later cause tension with the front office, as Bonner would often try to hold gatherings on the field or in the clubhouse. However, if another young O's prospect was having issues with alcoholism or addiction, Bonner was sometimes asked by the team to come talk to them. In 1980, upon being called up, legendary Orioles manager Earl Weaver asked him, "Who do you think you are?" The skipper insisted that, despite front office pressure to play the rookie Bonner, he had no intention of doing anything but park him on the bench as the second-place O's tried to catch the Yankees. And I'm an Orioles fan, so I'm pretty familiar with Earl Weaver and his legacy, as are the rest of the Orioles fans. But if you're not an Orioles fan, go on YouTube and look up just a video of Earl Weaver arguing with umpires or whatever it may be, or an interview or something. Just one of the more interesting characters in MLB history, definitely worth your time. But Bonner was the call-up choice of Orioles GM Hank Peters as opposed to Ripken, but Earl Weaver and other coaches wanted Ripken's more advanced hitting ability over Bonner. Bobby did himself no favors when he made a costly error that cost the O's an extra inning game during the heat of their playoff race. Bonner recalled hearing Weaver yelling in the clubhouse after the game, "Who do they think this guy is, sending him to me? I didn't want to play him and he can't even catch the ball." His rookie teammate Mike Boddicker observed this and said, "Bobby Bonner was a great shortstop, but after Earl blasted him that day, he just crumbled and was never the same." Hank Peters recalled, "Bonner was one of those reborn Christian kids and wore it on his sleeve, and Earl didn't take to him, never did. He crumbled him, and this was one of the best looking shortstop prospects you'll ever want to see. Earl just destroyed that kid. He never did bounce back from it, which is a shame." The Orioles still held Bonner in high regard, but in July 1982, Weaver moved Ripken to shortstop, where he started every Baltimore game for the next 14 plus years. Bonner went back to AAA Rochester to become a second baseman and attempt to learn to switch hit. Though he connected for a 3-run homer in his first game batting left-handed, he abandoned the experiment after less than 24 contests. At second base, at least, he finished the year on a streak of 46 straight errorless games. As the Orioles closed in on a division title in September of '83, he got into 6 games but logged only 2 pinch running appearances and 5 innings as a second baseman. Though he'd been measured for a World Series ring, he never received one, and he was voted only a $500 portion of the 1983 champion's $65,000 full playoff share. After retiring from baseball after the 1984 season, he became a missionary in Zambia, serving there for 26 years. Upon returning to the United States, he started International African Missions, an organization focused on getting missionaries to help in all African countries. He has said that during this work, his organization helped to start 313 churches in 7 different countries. 6 or 7 years before Earl Weaver died in 2013, Bonner met him one last time after Ripken convinced his fellow shortstop to attend a charity fundraiser. When Bonner approached to shake his former manager's hand, Earl Weaver seemed surprised, saying Hall of Famer and all-time Orioles great pitcher Jim Palmer often reminded him that he'd ruined Bonner's career. Bob told Earl about his work in Africa and said, "What people thought was bad, God meant for good," explaining that he held no grudge to the man who was widely believed to have ruined his career. Bonner continued, "More than anything else, Skip, God loves you, and so do I." He started crying, and that meant everything to me.